really excited to be able to talk and educate you a little bit more about a company that I believe is one of the highest quality and most exciting companies in the market today. But like Robert mentioned, it's still relatively unknown for the scale that it has. But this is actually a perfect time to hear about it. That unknownness has led to a discount in valuation compared to its peer group. But we are about to head into a time where we have 4 major catalysts coming up that I think will unlock a lot of value in the near term and set the stage for a major value creation over the years and even decades to come. Like Robert mentioned, our properties are up in the Yukon in Canada. We were attracted to this because it had one of the most compelling stories that I've come across in many years. And why do I say that? I'm also a principal at the Power One Capital Group. We've been financing and investing in junior mining companies for over 2 decades now. Over that period of time, we've been very fortunate to have been part of some of the most prolific value-creating stories in the market. And everything we do it from the perspective of looking to create positive shareholder returns. Like, we're investors first. That's what we're in it for. So we're very much aligned. Some of the companies that you may have heard of that we've been involved with going way back, Aurelian Resources, that was acquired by Kinross for $1 billion, later by the Lundin family. That's now Fruta del Norte Lundin Gold. More recently, Continental Gold acquired by Zijin for $2 billion. That is now in production. There's been many others in many different sectors, uranium, etc. Over that period of time, we've developed a bit of a protocol of what we look for in these opportunities to help generate that type of success. And when we had white gold presented to us by the infamous or famous prospector Sean Ryan, it really checked all the boxes of what we look to see. First and foremost was the size of the prize. What Sean has assembled here in the Yukon, I believe, would be impossible to do today in such a great jurisdiction. If you think about what we have, you couldn't almost script a better opportunity. These properties are all in the Klondike district. This was the area made famous for the Klondike Gold Rush, which started 125 years ago. It is continuing today. It's actually never been more active than it is today. They've generated over 20 million ounces of gold at surface. However, for the next 100 years, nobody was able to figure out where that gold came from or other instances of hard rocks. Statistically, there should be 2 to 3 times more gold in the bedrock than you find on the surface. So Sean went there hunting for tens of millions of ounces of gold, and he is the first and almost the only person that's actually been successful in being able to do that. How, you might ask? That's what we asked. What he quickly realized when he got there, that this part of the Yukon, believe it or not, was actually not glaciated. So there's very little outcrop. Therefore, the typical prospecting methodologies used across Canada were not effective. Sean spent half a decade there testing other methodologies, and eventually he honed in on soil geochemistry and the specific type of indicator elements that would allow him to identify those mineralized systems. As he realized that he had, quote-unquote, cracked the code, what he did next was so brilliant. He took that protocol and basically tested this entire district. He performed over 700,000 soil samples and then staked only what he felt to be the most prospective, which is now the portfolio we have today. It is 21 properties covering 300,000 hectares. That is enormous. You know, a lot of companies will start throwing around district scale potential when they're at 10 and 20,000 type hectares. This is 300,000 hectares, but not of a land grab moose pasture. It's only the properties that have met these rigorous tests. And what we believe white gold represents is the opportunity to own the majority of the best targets of an entire district. You know, Mayfair is in Timmins. That is a region of prolific and one of the best mining regions in the country. We think what we have here is that, but 50 years ago. So imagine the value that we've seen created in Timmins to be able to own that all in one company, or something akin to Val-d'Or, the Abitibi, or other top-ranked mining districts around the world. And I believe that is also what attracted Agnico to come in as our largest shareholder. They are looking for scale where they can produce tens of millions of ounces of gold, like what they've done in Val-d'Or, and that's the type of opportunity they see here. That's what we've seen, and I'm very proud to be able to report we've quietly done a tremendous amount of work and have been incredibly successful and been able to deliver a lot of value, and we think we're really just scratching the surface. So where is White Gold today? We've delineated now over 3 million ounces of gold on only 2 of our properties. It's the highest grade deposit in all of Yukon, one of the highest grade open pitable resources in all of Canada. What's even more remarkable is that deposit is only 3 million ounces because there's only been very limited amount of work done it. The size is limited by the amount of work. We are now, this year, in a few weeks, about to kick off the largest campaign in our history, which we believe will meaningfully continue to increase the size of those resources. At the same time, and this is why I think the timing is perfect, the area is finally starting to come into development. Having this package, in theory, was exciting 10 years ago. It is now 10 times more exciting because it's actually starting to happen. In our area, we've seen the investment of other major mining companies. The project to the south of us is called the Coffee. This was another Sean Ryan discovery. It was recently acquired by a company called Fuerte Metals, which is backed by Pierre Lassonde, and he's partnering with Newmont. And interestingly, Agnico is also coming to be a partner on that project there. They have a 3.8 million ounce resource, which they've drilled over 600,000 meters on, compared to our 80,000 meters to get to something of almost the same size. But from our perspective, we couldn't have been more fortunate to have a better group of people come in. These are some of the best mine builders and mining investors in the world. And for them to come into our backyard, I think further validates the opportunity there. And what's even more exciting for us is that now brings in the infrastructure, which will unlock the leverage to the rest of the district. If I can fast forward a couple of years here, I believe their project will be up to 5 million ounces. I think we'll be up to 5 million ounces. Now you have 10 million ounces within 20 kilometers of each other. That is of the scale for any of the major mining companies. We have 2 of them already invested in these companies. But what else it does is it brings the development. Their project's a heap leach, we're a mill. Now we have the foundation for a camp, and the green line you see there is the road that's going in, being paid for by the government and by Fuerte, which gives us road access to basically all our projects. So now anything you find, even a 200,000 or 300,000 ounce pit, you can truck it to one of the mills. However, I do believe we will be finding many more multi-billion ounce deposits, because the work that we've done over the last several years is very similar to what we saw led to our high-grade discovery. So we're more optimistic than we've ever been about the potential to own several multi-million ounce deposits in our package, in addition to many, many more other deposits. So it's very exciting. A couple other things, high level. The Yukon, a tremendous place to work. I've never seen in my career a more supportive political environment. We've seen a lot of discovery in the Yukon. It's really now, for the first time, just starts to come onto the investment radar. There's been other companies with tremendous amount of success, including Snowline and Sitka and Banyan. This really should and could be the epicenter for gold and mineral production, I think, over the next decades to come. So it's the perfect place, the perfect time. We have the perfect team. We've just hired an incredible president to help take this project to the next level and deliver our PA, which, as Robert said, I think, based on the high-grade nature of our project coming to surface, should be very strong. And we're also really fortunate to have Dylan Langell join us. He was part of the discovery team at Great Bear. He went through the acquisition with Kinross, took it to 7 million ounces, looking for his next challenge. The fact that he chose White Gold to come to, I think, is a further validation. So we're firing on all cylinders. A lot of news to come, major catalysts in the near term. And just with my last 30 seconds, what I will mention is, as we've been doing all this great work over the last several years, we've discovered many other types of minerals, copper, tungsten, and because we're trading at a discount to our peer group on the gold alone, like our neighbor Fuerte's $1.5 billion, Snowline's $3 billion, we're like less than 10% of that. Now we're a third the size and higher grade with a much shorter path to production. So to unlock the value and allow these projects to have the attention they deserve, we've just announced a spin-out. So shareholders of White Gold will be getting shares of W2 critical minerals in the next couple of months. Thank you very much. It's a short period of time, but come visit us. I'll have a lot more to talk about. Thank you.
you.